After the initial letdown of Heshlam's Crook and multi-year parliamentary discussion on how to proceed, the settlement of the Teldrren system began in earnest in 218 PCU. As the first corporations moved in, they established surface bases on Mizudori's sole major moon, Teldrin. These easy settlements were little more than prefabricated habitats, each owned and operated by a different corporation. To reduce their operating costs, these companies would look for local supplies of needed resources. In this, nature provided them a bountiful source. In a highly eccentric retrograde orbit around Mizudori was a dormant comet, possibly an interstellar interloper. Nearly 5 kilometers along its longest axis, and a mile in diameter at its waist, this icy dirt ball laid inert for millennia, having been captured by Mizudori's gravity far beyond the system's ice line. Too cold for its volatiles to sublimate and form a comet's hallmark coma and chorda, within its icy surface, however, was encased a significant metallic core. Much closer to Teldrren than the system's asteroid belt, this made the comet, as it was colloquially known, the prime source for in-situ construction metals for the first decade of Teldrren's orbital infrastructure development. Following the founding of the moon's first true city, Hatoba, and ensuing increase in ship traffic at the moon, a decision was made to transform the comet into a shipyard, to surface, refurbish, and potentially build new ships within the Teldrren system itself. This public-private partnership, organised by Hatoba's government, with strong financial backing from the system's companies, would bring the comet from its original altitude to a low orbit above Teldrren itself. The 7-year operation used the comet's own icy surface as reaction mass for its engines, and for the duration it once again lived up to its name, its drive plume visible from Teldrren restoring its comet-like appearance. Once in its final orbit, an equatorial trench was dug, where its surface was thinnest for the creation of docking bays. The engines used to move it, now no longer needed as such, were transferred to its interior, where they were repurposed to serve as its power plant, and on the 89th of Solstice 234 PCU, Teldrin Sail Works plc began formal operations. Majority ownership of the shipyard befell the Hatoba and by extension Teldrin's civilian government, with the rest owned in different proportions by the system's gas mining companies. Despite its formal name, to the inhabitants of Teldrren who saw it in their skies overhead, the Teldrin Sail Works yards became better known as the Sailmaker's Moon, or in the Creole language of its Mayalan immigrants, the Cadaran Dorai. The Cadaran Dorai would primarily focus on refurbishing the company's gas skimmers and the freighters who exported their resources to the wider cluster while importing much-needed victuals. Its role would only further grow when the burgeoning Frontier Union Party successfully acquired Linford Island-class vessels to protect the southeastern frontier in 244 PCU. The yards of Teldrin Sail Works were furnished by the Assembly with the machinery and tooling required to manufacture replacement parts for the ships on site. The adroit yard workers of the Cadaran Dorai, necessity being the mother of invention, would then expand on their intended scope by making whole new ships from scratch, albeit substantially stripped down compared to the full Linford Islands, the Florencia-class outrider. Now beyond mere maintenance and into full shipwriting, the companies would continue to expand Teldrin Sail Works yards. Metals would continue to be mined for the construction of skimmers and more yard slips up until 268 PCU, when further extraction was forbidden due to rising fears that hollowing of the comet's core could compromise its structure. By then, the yards themselves were deemed far more valuable to Teldrren than any remaining material wealth its core may have held. Teldrin Sail Works plc would eventually meet its end in 272 PCU, in the wake of the Sayora Revolt. After a cross-training exercise with Dulstaff Sen'jin Wharf revealed just how poorly they were treated by their corporate employers, the yard workers' revolt led by Kiami Sayora nearly ground the system's gas mining operations to a halt. The ensuing impasse between the workers and the shareholding corporations eventually forced the Teldrin government to fully nationalise the shipyard. In doing so, it officially became known by the name long used by Teldrin's population and by its yard workers, Cadaran Dorai. During the Frontier War, the Cadaran Dorai would provide much-needed relief to the large but overtaxed Sen'jin Wharf facilities by sharing in the responsibility for building and maintaining the Union's new ships, and converting seized CDF ships of the line in a process historically known as razaying. The plentiful materials from the Yadarunai Traverse and Mizudori's virtually inextinguishable supply of fusion fuels would prove indispensable to allowing it independence on external supply sources and the maintenance of the Frontier Union's war machine. After the turn of the Black Centenary, the Cadaran Dorai would focus on reconstruction, now with a decade's worth of wartime experience elevating it as one of the cluster's premier shipyards. Its slips would contribute to the Avalon expedition by fabricating many of the modular components of the eponymous Wanderer-class platform, working in close coordination with Keeper's Dance fleet yards. Thank you for watching. You can get the Sojourn through various distributors, all of which are accessible through www.thesojournaudiodrama.com. You can also get the series through Patreon, where you'll be able to access various bonus features, including our visual dictionary, Guinevere cross-sections, and anthology shorts. Remember to join us on Discord and get regular updates on all upcoming Sojourn releases. All the related links can be found below this video. Fair winds.